This video describes Landboard's Universal I/O Hat for the Raspberry Pi. The Universal I/O Hat for the Raspberry Pi is based on the configurable GBS card we produced last year as a Kickstarter project. The project was well received and we have some ideas for improvements. The main feature of the Raspberry Pi I/O Hat is that it allows you to connect 5-volt devices up to your Raspberry Pi simply and easily. A hat is simply a name for a daughter card that sits on top of a Raspberry Pi Model A+, B+, or the new Raspberry Pi 2. This hat has the 40-pin GPIO connector at the top of the card that's common to all of the newer Raspberry Pi boards. The card has two polysilicon fuses on it which protect the Raspberry Pi's 5 volts and 3.3 volts. The top row of connectors are the GVS connections, ground voltage and signal, for all of the Raspberry Pi I/O lines. The section in the right center is the E2PROM, which is what makes a Raspberry Pi hat a hat. The headers and two small ICs in the bottom of the card are what provides the translation from 3.3 volts to 5 volts. At the top of this section are two 8-pin headers, which connect up to the 3.3 volt side of the voltage translators. In the center of the bottom section are two translator ICs, which provide 8 bits each of voltage translation between 3.3 volts and 5 volts. At the bottom of the section are 16 bits of the 5-volt GVS GPIO lines. And finally on the right is a 2-pin terminal block which allows 5 volts to be connected to the card. Here's an example of a number of I/O devices hooked up to a Raspberry Pi. It's as simple as plugging in the devices with a short cable and you have a full-up system. All of these parts run at 5 volts. Here's an example of our GVS configurable card with all of the GPIO lines configured as outputs. Each output line is driving an LED one at a time, and you can see the whole pattern here running of the LEDs. Thank you for watching our video, and we hope you'll consider supporting our project here on Kickstarter.